Man, come in with them fire shoes on.
Am I ready to come in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
What up, family? What up, dog? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Hey, baby.
What's up, baby?
Good to see you, man.
Good to
Where do
see
I
you,
belong?
bro.
Right here?
Right here, man.
Okay.
Got the Landon
boy.
Dickerson on?
Man, you know, I just always get 69 when they make me jerseys, because, you know. But I try to get one everywhere we go, you know?
What number did you wear back in the day?
Well, when I was in high school, I wore 74, like my dad and all my brothers wore 74.
Right,
so,
right.
But, you know, that 69 is funny. So,
69 is
yeah,
good.
I wanted to be like my dad, but obviously now I'm not playing ball. I can be 69 all I want.
All day.
Teddy Swims is back, man, part 2.
Yeah, man.
It's like the second time you released. I tried everything but therapy, you know what I'm saying? It's like a new thing.
Dude, how long has it been since we hung out?
September of 2022.
The way you treat people, man, the way you move, like that's what life is about. It's about the relationships you build. But the level of talent that you have, man, like it is different. It is elite, and you are touching people, you're moving people, and people are paying attention. And so for us to get an opportunity to sit down with you in this way, like I feel like 5 years from now, we'll look back at it and be like, man, before Teddy Swims was the Teddy Swims everybody else knew on Grammys and all that, he sat down with the pivot, man. So thank you so much.
I'll be right back, too.
Look, appreciate it.
I'm trying to get some Journey out of him.
Okay, so Chan, you said you learned the words to Journey, right?
What's that? That's the song, Freddie. That's the song that you got
Just
on
a
me,
small time girl.
Oh yeah.
Living in
a lonely world.
Let's go, baby.
What we got, bro?
She took the midnight train going.
Hey.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He got it.
Honestly, man, this was something like I did as a fan. Like you couldn't have been better. Like honestly, you're. You pulled up in like a Honda Accord or something like that.
Yeah, sure did, man. I sure did.
It ain't like that outside.
No,
I saw like
yeah.
7 tour buses.
Yeah. Now we're doing all right, man. We're okay. I just bought a house in Nashville too. My girls, I'd have a baby in a month, man. I'm having a little son.
man.
Yeah, he's due on Father's Day too on the 15th, which
Wow.
I hope he's born on that day, because I plan on just be like, you know, girl, I know you in pain, but don't you need to tell me something, you know? Don't you need to tell me something, baby? Did you not forget to tell me Happy Father's Day? Totally make it about me, you know?
That would be awesome.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
Freddie T, man. Teddy Swims is here. Channing couldn't make it today. He has a family emergency. Thoughts and prayers are with him. I'm RC, Pivot Fam. Thank you for pivoting with us. This is one of our favorite guests. We're excited to have him again. Teddy, man, it's one, as a fan, which is why we did the show the first time. I just want to say congratulations, man, on just all the hard work starting to show some fruits for you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, y'all too, man. Thank you, dude. Thank y'all for coming. Last time we did this in Atlanta, and here we are in Philly together, which is so cool. Thank y'all for always making the track, man.
You know, on the way here, just reading so many articles, man, there was so much stuff you were doing that was in Europe. It was, you know, stuff from Berlin and all these places that you've been. That kid from Georgia who listened to his homeboy's dad sang Bon Jovi, how could you ever imagine it would grow to what it's grown to now for you?
You know, I of course imagined it. You know, that was always the goal. Like we always saw that this being the case. You know, and never let that go. That was the most important thing. But to see it happen, I guess I would say like the weirdest thing about it is it's everything I wanted it to be, but it's also a lot of things that I never expected. You know what I mean? It's come with its own different type of problems that, you know, like the kid that was telling myself of like, if I could do this for a living or if I could like establish this as a life, I would like all these problems would go away, and that couldn't be farther from the truth, you know, like especially when it comes to like certain self-image and self like, I guess like, insecurities. Like you would think some of that stuff goes away when you're like, people think that you're good or beautiful in some way. You would think that you would start feeling that way, and that was like couldn't be further from the truth. It definitely took a lot of hard wake-up calls of being like, I gotta learn how to love me. Like, I think it got worse when people started coming in and being like, I love you. I think it got worse. I felt like I was in this, lying like to myself, or they were lying to me, or I just couldn't, it was just, so, it has its own ups and downs, but I am so grateful where I am, like, currently in my life, and mentally and spiritually and, physically even, I'm doing all right, so.
No, without a doubt. I mean, it looks that way from the outside looking in, man. And I went back to prepare for this show. I rewatched our last show the first time we were together. You talked about the $30,000 Airbnb the first time you went to LA. You was like, man, no way, that's wasteful money. And we've kept in touch via DM ever since then, right? And you said, look, we got to run it back. You're on superstar status, man. Why run it back with us?
Well,
Like, we just...
This kind of thing, man, because of exactly that, just to come back in and check in to each other. And I know, dude, I felt so good about last time we chatted. And,
right.
I mean, we stay in touch, and you guys have all been like, we're lifelong friends, and especially now we have that history together. And I've seen how much all of us have just kind of gone in our directions and really, like, taken off in a beautiful way. And it's good to I think it's beautiful to circle back and catch up and be like, man, I'm so proud of you guys, and saying back to me, and it just feels good to be, and we do this damn thing every couple of years and check back in, man, it just, dude, I love you guys, man, and it means a lot to be hanging with you again, and I miss Chan. I wish he was here too, but whatever's going on, God bless him, and I'm praying for him,
Well,
of course.
the first thing Chan would say, he just happy you know how to make a baby.
Yeah, well, he wasn't giving me too much credit last time, was he?
And the other thing you might say is, are we gonna see Swims and Skims promo anytime soon?
God, I'm a ways off of that, I think, but I'm working on it, man. I've been off the booze for a few weeks now, and my guy Luis, who's my security guy, he's like an old Golden Glove boxer, so the last couple weeks I've been getting after it in the gym, and I'm trying to get back a little slimmer for the first time, slim, I guess, in my life. So
Slims.
I just want to feel good when my son gets here. I want to feel like strong and be able to and be like a parent and like present. Because I want to be home and be like present and be fully there for that time when I get when he's here. I want to catch that baby and be like, whoa, that was intense.
Yeah, you could be like Martin when the baby shot across the kitchen. He's like, I called him.
Oh, but speaking of Martin, look, I just got this finished today because last time I was here in Philly, my buddy Jake Caramel started this tattoo, and look, we just finished it like right before I came in here. I got this Jerome finished. Look how sick that is. Isn't it cool?
Dog.
That's my favorite show of all time. So I'm always like, dude, Martin is that's my sleep show.
How did you just come up with that, bro? Did you know that?
Hey, man, I just be rolling.
I just Martin is like my go to sleep show. I watch that show over and over. That's like that's my bedtime. Like that's my everyday show. I love Martin, man.
Teddy, man, before the album released, before your debut album, you hadn't started therapy, and now you've moved in to doing that. What has that journey been like for you?
Man, I think it's been really wonderful. I think especially when it comes to like learning love and how love is supposed to be. I had these bad patterns and like bad things that I just always like kind of associated love with. And I mean, we all got to break those and I still am learning to it, but I think like I have to give everything to Raish, man. God is a woman, and she's the most incredible woman, man. To see her like just put out an EP a couple days ago, still in Pilates, still in yoga, still taking care of her body, still getting like putting this house together, furnishing it, they're getting it painted. She's doing it all, and I'm on the road, and she's just like so powerful, man. She, when we first found out we were pregnant, she was like, I think it'd be good for us to start therapy together, as we're going in. And we work on our communication and work on like making sure we bring this baby in the most loving, healed environment. And, sure enough, then like I'm doing it alone, and then she's doing it alone. And then I'm like, dude, I think this woman just tricked me into therapy, bro, and like just like a good woman should, you know what I mean? Like just does like, she just always gives me like just has healed me in so many ways. Or I guess gave me the tools to heal myself, rather, and I just couldn't be more grateful for
awesome,
her
man.
as a the human being. She's fucking dope, dude.
We mentioned that it's been a while since the last time, right? What's like the biggest difference in the man that's sitting here today?
Man, you know, I think I'm ready for I don't know, I guess the thing that it is now, it's so wild to see that we're in, 70 people are here doing this job now. We're like 11 trucks and like 6 buses out there, and it's like, it's a lot of folks like counting on this thing to work. And I think and more so I am like taking, just picking and choosing my battles and like really trying to make sure that I'm available and like and I'm like perceptive of things. And I think just overall, like the wisdom I've accrued from doing this and trying to be a leader, I think I've just gotten to be a whole lot better of a leader, and realizing that instead of making decisions all the time, actually just being a follower is like the most important thing about leading. A lot of times, like putting the right guy in the position to do the right thing and always trusting that if you trust somebody, they're gonna make the right call, rather than just like banging my head and terrified all the time of decisions that I don't know how to make. I think I'm just like following my gut and listening to it a whole lot more. I would say is like, I think especially when it came to like Lose Control kind of having its moment, I remember we're still going crazy, but I remember the first time when we played that song and feeling like, God, this is gonna change my life. And seeing that song do the distance and me knowing like, okay, like when I feel something in my gut, I know I need to trust that feeling and don't let nobody tell me shit otherwise, And so I think just a lot more in my life I've moved in, I guess like, not ever questioning myself and my movements now. I want to be like, I made the decision, I stand on it and I move forward, and I don't like, I feel like so long in my life I was terrified of decisions and not knowing that if you didn't make one, that's also making a decision. And sometimes just letting shit happen is the worst thing to do. And even if you make the wrong decision, you made one, and that's better than not making one, And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned in my life over this couple years.
And with that, I mean, your stage name, well, your last name, your stage name, Swims. What is someone who isn't me sometimes?
Yeah.
With all the new success, do you still feel like you're not you sometimes?
Well, I think the name was more so like I feel like, I say it like this all the time. I feel like I'm every day I feel like I'm further from who I thought I was, Mm-hmm. Like I learn more about myself, and the things that are like so important to me then are just like, there's different things that are important to me now. And I think as I grow and evolve, I think that name just keeps it open to like whoever I am becoming, rather than being stuck in this. I don't ever want it to be like a different character that I'm playing. I want to be as authentic as I am to the person that I am at the time, and I think as I change, I think that name maybe gets it evolved. I've started experimenting with saying like soft wiener in my shorts, or like someone who I massage sexually, just to like kind of tiptoe around. When people ask me the question now, I kind of freestyled a little bit,
Right.
No, I love that.
Crazy.
When I first saw you, you were doing covers of all of these fantastic artists, some of the greats in the world on YouTube, and I was like, man, like showing my kids, and we're talking about it in the house, and then I couldn't help but smile when the Lose Control challenge took over social media, and so many people did all of these beautiful renditions and versions of your song. And it took me back to like singing with you in Georgia, and you just going through all of these songs you'd sing. That moment of people embracing you the same way you embraced some of the greats, what was that like?
Yeah, it's incredible, man. It's the best feeling in the world, man. It's a reaffirming feeling, because, of course, there's like always this fear of like, shut up and sing Shania Twain, fat boy. You know what I mean? I like there's always that fear that like I've seen so many people kind of get locked in that cover space, and I'm just grateful to had something that really broke through, and to see people like covered, or kids that like I find on TikTok all the time who are singing this, and they might be like amazing singers, and I'll see like follows you, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy, or they're singing my song and they're incredible, it's like, it's such a beautiful thing to see somebody's take on something, or like, I guess the same way that I listened to those songs that I covered, that I sang them from a place of, they were like my relationships I was singing about, or like my certain like summer that I spent with this person, and that's the way I think of this song. And truly when you're, I find that the beautiful thing about music is that like I don't really ever, you know, like if I think about the Carter 3, for instance, by Lil Wayne, I think about like my 9th grade summer, going into 10th grade, and I did LSD for the first time, and I was going to my first high school parties and stuff, and that was like the whole album was like the anthem of my like coming of age, you know, and so like. I don't know what Lil Wayne was going through when he wrote that stuff, but for me, that just signifies like this coming of age and this beautiful time in my life. And so like now when I see that and play out in front of my eyes with people with my music, you know, it's like maybe they listen to that all summer and they fell in love to that song and they like, and it doesn't matter about the girl that broke my heart that I wrote that about. It's like, it's actually a love story for some people. And it's such a fucking beautiful thing to see, you know?
You said something, Teddy, that kind of jumped out at me when you mentioned the word fear. We had Jelly Roll on the show, and I asked him his biggest fear. But before you answer that one, because I do want to ask you your biggest fear, right? You also mentioned that you're moving, you just got a house in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Any collaborations down the road at some point?
Man, Jelly is the kindest, most beautiful human in the world, man. He really is, just deserves everything that's coming his way, and I can never speak more highly about a human being than, nobody can. I really don't think anybody can say anything negative about that guy. But yeah, dude, one day when the time is right, you know, me and him can finally get together and write that tune, you know. We've had a couple of things over like the time that somebody might say, like, you guys could do this together, but I'm like always just like, I think when we get that time to work together and write something that feels like that space in both of us, I think that's the way we got to do it, you know. And I'm always like, dude, we got to get together and do it. But I mean, he's having a whirlwind, and I'm, you know, well, one of these days, yeah, when I'm living in Nashville, he's off the road, I'm off the road, we're gonna get there and do something eventually.
Have you ever had the all of us look alike moment with Jelly Roll?
Oh, you know the worst thing that I won't say the worst thing that happened because there's worse people, but like, dude, I was okay. So we were in JFK in New York, and I'm leaving the Sky Club, and we're on the elevator, and this lady's like, you know, oh my God, are you? And I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah. So you know, I'm feeling myself, you know, I'm feeling myself too, bro. And she's like, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. And so we take a picture, and I was like, oh, we didn't press the button. I was like, it's okay, we got distracted. She puts the button, and she goes down. She's like, yeah, just casually chilling in the elevator with Jelly Roll. And I was like, and my face would go white. The door opens, and I just like, don't correct her, just go. And I was like, at first, like, I mean, not offended, but I just, you know, it just kind of made me feel humbled because I was like, yeah, it's me, you know, yeah. And I'm scared, like, what if she posted that on Facebook or something? This poor old lady, like, hung out with Jelly Roll today in the elevator, and somebody's like, that's not Jelly Roll, and she's like, that piece of shit tried to tell me he's Jelly Roll. And then now I just look like a Jelly Roll impersonator, and I just want to be like, no, baby, I'm also famous. Like, you know,
That's how
you can't say that. That makes you look worse. So I just had to let that happen and be like, I probably look like an asshole right now.
That's the thing too, because you get it often, so you are ready to answer that you are who they think you are.
Next time I'll wait till they say Teddy Swims before I open my mouth.
Fears. They call me Fred Jackson. You play for Buffalo? Fred Jackson?
Oh, no.
Taylor. It's just Taylor.
Fred Jackson. Come on, man.
It's so cool to be here. I mean, Soundcheck is going on. Like, you have so many things moving, man, and you're continuing to ascend. Timing is everything.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
and,
sir.
You know, I think people always think you become an overnight success, but it takes so much work.
Oh, it sure does.
Do you feel like things happen at the right time for you to be able to handle all of this?
Dude, I you know, and I say it all the time. I feel like if I wanted this so bad, like when I was younger, and you know, like shout out to people like kids like Benson Boone who are just like absolutely mature enough to deal with this at 22 and absolutely like there and like crushing it. If I would have gotten this at like 22 or any time before now, I'd have sent it straight to my liver and up my nose, dog. You know what I mean? I would have fucked this thing up, dude. I would have ruined it. You know what I mean? I'd just like, I wasn't there like mentally, or also I didn't have like my perspective or like my like, I didn't have the thing to give, I don't think. You know, it took life and it took lessons and it took things to like feel like where I'm coming from, I actually speak to people in a way that can bless people now rather than just being a kid talking about love, you know what I mean? I think I really have a blessing to give to people and also can receive them a lot easier than I did at some point in my life. And so I think timing, again, yeah, it's everything. It's everything. I'm in the place for this, you know?
What's the one thing that you've done since the last time we saw you where you were like, damn, I made it?
I think like my biggest, like, I think made it moment is so The 30th, I guess it was a couple years ago. Maybe it was right after I talked to you guys, and maybe a few months afterwards. I'd worked with Megan Trainor, and we did this song, and her husband Daryl Sabaro, like he had just turned 30, and he was the Spy Kid Jr., you know. And I remember like going up, man. My mom was taking us. I saw, I think, Spy Kids 3 like 3 times in theater. You know what I'm saying? I was all about that shit when I was a kid, and so. For his 30th birthday, he's at the Soho House in LA, and they like rented out the theater, and you know, like we watched Spy Kids 2 with Junie and Alexa Vega too, and I was just like, I remember I got to call my mom and be like, Mom, like I just watched Spy Kids with the fucking Spy Kids, like this is, I did it, yeah, like I did it. She's like, I know that was awesome, baby, I know that was awesome. I saw Alexa too. I froze up too. Like I met Alexa, and I know she's married and stuff, and I still apologize for this moment because I was like, bro, I had the biggest crush on her when I was like a kid. You know what I mean? And I blurted out when I met her too. I was like, Alexa, it's so good to meet you, man. I used to make out with my pillow to you, dude. And I was like, oh, you dumbass. Why'd you say that? I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Why did I say that? I was like 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, you know, like, forgive me. Like and I'm 32. I shouldn't have said that, but you know.
That is wild.
Starstruck, you know what I mean?
It happens, I guess. How is tour life though? Like, you still having fun with it? The routine is slow?
It's the best, dude.
Do you ever have moments where you feel like you want to just be at home in your own bed?
Of course, man. I mean, I do, especially now with everything coming up, you know, with the baby and stuff. I want to be at home, but there's like, I'm lucky enough that like I have my boys here, and we got such a strong foundation. We're all taking care of each other and checking on each other, and I mean, it feels like I've been touring, I guess, like 11 months out of the year for the last 4 years now. So I really don't know too much about home other than the bus at this point, you know. And I do find myself like, as touring, I have a better routine than I do at home right now, you know, because I don't even know how to act when I get home. I guess there's like a thing that I kind of go through all the time with and I remember I asking Bert Kreischer about this, and he told me this beautiful thing. Like he's like, man, I get it too, because like sometimes you get off the road and you're like a couple days in and you're just like, I don't know, just get depressed kind of, you know? Like, I think there's like some level of dopamine or some level of endorphins that you get while you're doing this, and this level of praise that you get so like, it's like not natural for a human being, I don't think. And so I tend to like get home and like, I used to value my alone time and like my space a lot, but now sometimes I get home and I'm like scared terrified of being alone, or find this depression, and I have to tell myself, it's like, you're not depressed, you're just like, not getting this level of dopamine, and maybe your brain has just shut down the production of it altogether, and you're not getting this level of love and appreciation and this like level of like acceptance from people all the time at home. And so when small things happen, I'm like, hey, you know, I get so down on myself. And so it's always like a re-entry when I get back home, you know, is what Bird said. He's like, you know, I just like try to make sure everybody comes around and like gives me love, you know, like I need to go home to my girl, and it's like, I really need love right now, you know, I need my brother, I need my mom, everybody to be here and like have a cookout, or someone to just give me love, tell me everything's okay, because it is, but you know, there's things about your brain that just, I think, get weird when you're doing this job.
You know, that's fair, because when I look at a lot of, you know, a lot of guys that played in the NFL, a lot of guys that, you know, they were energized from the crowd and, you know, people loving them and cheering for them. And then when they retire and it's all said and done, they go into this deep depression. They kind of lose themselves and all that different stuff. And, you know, it's one thing when you actually love those lights versus not loving those lights and learning how, or trying to figure out how to manage it. So I think as you go, continue to, you know, lean on them people that love you the most, and that'll be your therapy when you're done. You know, knowing that you have them still in your life, in your corner, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think that's the biggest thing, is just trying to have, again, the people around you matter the most, you know, and having people that just will lift you up and understand. Because I'm sure y'all go through it too. Yeah, in the same way that like that praise is like just not something. I don't want to say praise like in the wrong way. I mean, just that love, you know, that attention,
if
that
you
thing.
feed into it.
Yeah, I think it can define you in a lot of ways sometimes. It's like, could be very good for you, you know, make you proud and make you like energized and feel good. But it can also be a slippery slope too on the avenue of just like, what am I without this? You know, what do I have without this? What am I if I'm not singing or playing, or what am I as a father? What do I have to offer outside of what I do? And I've just never really had anything. And so like, that's the biggest thing, is always trying to figure out, I gotta get some hobbies, man. You know, like I gotta figure out how to do stuff that is not. I even find that when I've like stopped drinking for a while, I'm like every day in the green rooms, I'm like, oh, we gotta write some tunes. We gotta do this. I gotta keep my mind going, so I'm not just like, let's get a drink going, you know. And it's getting tough to be like. I've even started. I just bought a tattoo machine and like we just tattooing the crew and we tattooing each other and I'm just like having fun, just like keeping my mind busy, doing something else and it's been really rewarding too, just doing something different than that singing thing,
Did you finish your back yet? I know you said it hurt.
No, man, I haven't gotten to see Derek in a minute. Like we haven't gotten to go home to Atlanta enough time to get the back done. But I got some stuff around it added, but I got to go back to him to get it done, But I'm scared. It's been like 4 years. He's probably gonna he's gotten better. He's probably gonna want to redo a bunch of lines, and I'm gonna be like, dude, don't do that. Let's lay off of it. So we're gonna get it done.
Teddy, with all these tats you have, man, why weren't you able to finish that one? Like you got tats on your eyelids.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it done. It's just got to be by him, I don't ever get a chance when I'm home in Atlanta to get him to do it, But I don't want nobody else to touch his work. He's got to finish it, and that's my boy. So
Spoken like a real person with tattoos. Is it cheating though? Those guys that get the anesthesia, get knocked out to get tatted, is that cheating?
Look, dude, I'm all about getting the tattoos with as little pain as possible. I've sat through some stuff that I had to earn, and it's not fun. Right. I would totally, I would have totally, but now I'm covered enough that I couldn't do that if I wanted to. But I'm not like an old head about it. Like you're a pussy if you don't sit down and take it like a man. Like, nah, come on, get your toe, get covered up, man. You like the art, so the artist, man. That's all that matters.
Man, absolutely. Freddie T, man, I know you've been back in the gym.
Yep.
I think it was old Travis Hunter getting drafted down there that inspired you. You know what I'm saying? My dog played both sides of the football. I mean, just think, man, if he had some of this cachava, man, shoot, this all-in-one, it's like a nutrition shake, but it's plant protein. Like, this would be something that would have got you right back in the day.
Hey, bro, you're right. I would have definitely loved this back in the day, but even better now, it supports everything I need from my energy, digestions, my muscles, my weight. I've been watching my weight. Has 25 grams of plant protein, 85 superfoods. I mean, they should have named it everything because it has everything.
And what's crazy to me, though, like you said, the plant protein, I was like, man, I got to be a vegan to take cachava? But then I looked at it, bro. Adding plant-based protein to your diet is a great way to get all the nourishment you need, and it's a whole body experience. And what's dope about it, Freddie T, is you can try cachava now risk-free with their Love It guarantee.
Hey, bro, that's a fact. When I had it, I felt focused, energized, calm, and full for hours. When they say whole body, they wasn't lying.
I mean, absolutely, man. Fuel your game with cachava. Go to kachava.com and use the code PIVOT for 15% off a subscription for a limited time. That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com. Use code PIVOT for 15% off. Listening to you and Fred kind of talk about that, it's sort of solitude. We had this conversation with Jay Shetty, and he talked about being alone. It could be solitude or it could be loneliness, depending on the way your mind shapes it. And for you, you talked about the applause, right? I think a lot of that is the fact that you worked really hard doing something that you're passionate about giving to people, and it feels good when they receive it.
Yeah, totally.
Man, it feels good when they receive it. One of my favorite things that you've done since the last time we saw you is sing with Kelly Clarkson. Now, I think Kelly Clarkson.
We're about to get back with her too in a couple weeks too.
How was that?
She's the coolest person, man. And that whole building too, like in her whole place, like everybody in that entire crew, everybody that works on that show, you could just tell, like, when a good leader, everybody from the top down is all just happy to be there and there's nowhere they'd rather be. Like, that's how she runs her, it's a well-oiled machine where everybody's just every day excited to get up at 4 a.m. Like, they all fucking love their jobs, and just her as a human being, all of them as human beings are just great, great people. We're about to do a episode of her, and she's doing this whole, Teddy Swims episode, and we're learning a bunch of duets to do together and singing. So I'm excited to get back with her. She's one of the kindest people in the world, man. She really is, and so incredibly talented.
Yeah. Now I got to tap into that. A Teddy Swims, Kelly Clarkson full sort of experience.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be, man.
Yeah, you absolutely can't beat that. You've grasped so much of what you've worked for. What's the thing that keeps you inspired and motivated now to keep growing and keep going?
I mean, right now it's my son, right now the the thinking about the way that I'm going to look at the world, I'm already starting to look at things so differently and making decisions differently, and he's not here, you know, like I can't imagine what I'm going to have to say when he's right here, you know, like I don't know what's going to be like how I'm going to take. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, I think that's going to inspire me the most, is that like the being like present in moments. You know, there's so many times when I'm home that I'm like, if I'm not doing this right now, or like somebody is out there getting it, and I'm not working on this, or I feel like I'm not working enough, even though I'm going tooth and nail on this. But I feel like there's going to be that time where I'm sitting there holding my baby, and I'm in the living room and I'm just watching Netflix for 8 hours, and this is the most productive thing I could be doing right now. And there's not anything else that's saying, what are you doing? You got to be working on this. You got to be, you know, when that voice calms down and I'm like, this is the most productive thing I could do right now, is this me and this baby and my girl, like this, like my family is the most productive thing. I think it's going to give me this like, when I go to work and when I come home, I'm going to be present in ways that I don't think I've ever been. And I think the way I'm going to learn to speak and learn to say things, and the way that I will be more, I guess, guided and intentional with everything, I think is going to be like if that answers the question at all, I don't know. But I think that's my inspiration right now.
You are different.
Dude, I feel that way.
No.
Thank you,
And
man.
I'm just saying, and I don't get to be around you every day. You know, I get to watch from the outside. The guy that sat with us 2 years ago is not sitting here today, and I think it's positive. Like you feel the energy, you feel the joy, you feel the happiness, and you had that then radiating off you. But it feels like stardom, you know. It feels like hard work that's paying off, man. I'm so happy for you, bro.
You
like,
made me cry, bro. Thank you.
Nah, just to see good people,
That's
man,
so sweet of you to say, bro.
Yeah, man, have great things happen to them. I was reading something you said, and you said your aunt asked you, and I want to get this right, why do you have to write the great songs?
Oh, yeah. She had,
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, she had told me one time, this was what kind of healed me through, like, you know, having like writer's block. Like, she had told me one time, we were at Thanksgiving, and I'm never really get to be home with my family, and she's like, baby, you say you're always in LA writing songs, and you're in Nashville writing songs, and you're writing songs every day, and then on Spotify you have like 10 songs out. She's like, well, what's going on with all them songs, you know? And I was like, well, I'm trying to write the good ones. She's like, why don't you only write the good ones? And it dawned on me that I can't only write the good ones, you know? I got to write the bad ones. I got to write the bad ones that inform the good ones, or the good, you know, I got to finish things. It's like, so when I think the only time you really get in that like place of writer's block is like wanting something to be good and trying to make something good. Even now, I kind of struggle with that, as if we've had success with like something as gigantic as Lose Control. It's like you can go and start writing a song and be like, well, that don't feel like nothing like as big as that. Yeah. I need to start over, you know, instead of finishing an idea. And also, you never know what else is going to connect or what's going to connect to your heart. And I just, you know, I just like, and so sometimes when I don't feel that gut feeling of this is amazing, then I feel like I like lay off of it, which is the stupidest thing to do, because that's like, you can't live making art trying to be good, because it's never going to work like that. We stumbled into lightning in a bottle with that. We didn't just kind of like, all right, guys, let's write a hit, you know? And that you can't do that. You can't just like, let's make something that's going to connect with everyone. It's not like that, you know? And so I think that just that realization kind of healed me from wanting everything to be good all the time, because it sucks a lot of times. And it's okay to suck completely, bro. You're gonna suck. I'm gonna fail. And I learned from failure. It's not like, you never learn from success, dude. Nothing, you don't learn anything from winning. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, we won. But what do you get from that? Nothing usually.
I started to ask you what's your biggest fear? And since we're speaking about failure, like, could you just tap into it?
I think this is gonna sound funny, but like my biggest fear is as right now is like, and this is like a nice way of saying it, but like watching my dad be a granddad, because he's like the coolest guy in the world. Like, he's the best dude in the world, and I know he's gonna be like the most badass granddad. And I just want my son to think I'm cool, man. You know, I want to be cool, man, and I just hope he thinks I'm cool, you know. And I just want to be his hero. All I want in everything in my life is just like, I want to be there and available and be like, I know my biggest fear currently is just that, like, kids are exposed to everything right now, man. And my parents were like sheltering me from certain things that I needed to, like harsh realities and harsh truths. You can't do that with kids anymore. They got everything at their fingertips. And even if you keep them from screens, they're gonna find this stuff out. It's there. And you can't keep kids from, it's so terrifying to navigate a child coming into this world and them having these harsh realities or these harsh truths right out the gate. And from the jump, like from inception, you're like, 2 years old, they're like hearing these things that are like there's weirdos all over the place. There's just, I don't know, it just scares the shit out of me that I want to make sure that I can't shelter him from anything, but I want to make sure that he has the tools to compartmentalize this stuff and like really break it down and have to be honest with him about things that should not be honest, like being way too young and not believing in Santa Claus or something, terrifies me. Like magic getting robbed from him too early on scares me. And just kids these days, it's magic getting robbed. It's a Google away from like the harshest truth that they want to find out, and then they see it, and then they're like, Dad, why did you lie to me about this thing or this thing? Or like, and you can't lie to them. You gotta like, and so it scares the shit out of me to try to be like, all right, son, here's the reality at this age, and have to navigate that with a kid that doesn't quite, understand or has to understand too early. And I fear for children these days that are just, I mean, they're so resilient, and I know that, but it scares the fuck out of me, man.
You're already on the right track. Just to hear the passion in your tone and the excitement, and I do know you will be his best friend.
Yeah,
and a lot of times that'll help circumvent any of the stuff that they potentially could get exposed to, and he'll trust you. Just lean on that, and everything's gonna be okay. And you can probably take that from two guys who had boys or kids at a young age. So we've been in this thing for a while, man, and just about hanging out with them, speaking life into them, and just being their best friend, but also being their parent, right? And disciplining that whole deal. But with your excitement, man, I'm sure, 100% sure, you're gonna do great, and he's gonna be fine.
Hey, Teddy, so he's met my father. As someone who is not cooler than their father, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, like my pops, bro, like when my homeboys come to Louisiana, they ask me, where's my dad? Like, and there's times that I have dudes who coach in the league or who play in the league, and they'll come to Louisiana and go to dinner with my dad, and I don't get invited.
Dude, I can't wait to meet him, man. He sounds like a legend, bro.
He's a legend.
Hey, he's a legend, and so I get that, something I deal with, and I'm clearly not famous like you. Like people don't even, when they ask me, are you so-and-so, I always ask, who you think about? You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Has the fame or the applause or the success heightened or lessened the insecurity?
Man, that's a really good question. I think it's in a lot of ways, for a long time, it heightened it. It was a very scary situation because, again, I thought this was gonna like solve some of my self-image issues, or like my being sure of myself and stuff was gonna come because people told me that I was good, and then I thought I'd feel that way. But I think I had to take it into my own hands, and it's a lot of self-work that I had to do to really get to that point of like, okay, so the real thing that the issue was underlying this whole entire time was that I think I wanted this because I was looking for some sort of acceptance to tell myself that I was good, and that was never going to come from anyone else, It's not anybody else's place to make me feel that my feelings are okay to have, and we all are going through that shit. Yep. And the worst thing is that we're just all the center of our own experiences. So like, you think you're alone in this battle that's like everybody's going through, And I think a lot of just self-work over the time it's now getting to the point where I do feel like, I feel like I'm a good person and I'm worthy of things. And that takes every day waking up and looking at yourself, and as goofy as it sounds, saying, I love you, man, you're doing a great job, you're my boy, and telling myself, looking at myself in the eyes and saying that stuff. You don't realize a lot of times that like, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're like, a lot of times you're even like kind of sucking it in before you walk in there, and you're like messing with your shirt, and you feel like, this is how I want to look at myself. And then you walk away from the mirror and the gut's right back out. I don't know who I'm fooling. You know what I'm saying? So I don't try to make myself make the right face and, all right, this is me. You leave and then something else completely happens. And so I I think when I started looking at myself in the eyes in the mirror, started, having a chat with me in the morning, was like one of the biggest things that really changed my life, was just like, you deserve this. You're a good person, And that, I guess, like, lessened the blow of insecurity for me. But I'm always struggling with it, We always will.
How do you wake up ready to do this all the time, every day, Teddy?
God, no, you don't.
Okay, that's all.
Man.
Yeah.
You never, man. Now, most of the time, I don't. Most of the time, I'm like, oh no. Yeah, but you know what I mean. I find that the best thing is, and me and my boys, we like always try to practice this. It's like, I like prioritizing gratefulness is what I call it, and like. A lot of times, some things might feel a little jobby. It might be the 6 a.m., like get up, go to the radio station, sing. And also, I mean, there's some of the things too that I found that like when you're doing the meet and greets, man, there's some of the most fulfilling things to do. You have like, it's like an hour of time, like you got 100, 200 people in a line to come see you, and you get maybe 20 seconds with each of them, which sometimes is hard. And next thing you know, like sometimes somebody's like walking up and they're sobbing and they're like, my mom was meant to be here. She just passed from cancer or something. And, your music's really got me through it. And they're crying and you're crying with them. And you're like, man, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. And you give them a hug. And then you send them on their way. The next couple walks up and they're just gleaming from ear to ear. And they're just like, hey, and you got to be like, oh, what's up? And then they're talking about a story of triumph or like how much, like, we just got married to your song. And then you're meeting them there. And then they're on 20 seconds later and the next people come up and then, so you're just like happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad. And then, like after 2 hours of that and a meet and greet, you're like, what is going on with my body? Like emotionally, like what the hell just happened? Like I was just celebrating and then crying and then celebrating and then crying and it all like is beautiful, but it's like such a roller coaster of things. And so sometimes that can like weigh on your mentality and your heart in like a lot of rough ways. And so it definitely can get weird, but again, that choosing, like prioritizing gratefulness, I've learned that like the best thing that I can do is to say like how grateful I am and choose my gratefulnesses. Man, one thing me and my buddy Thomas Brooks, we always do this, a sweet friend of mine, we say, look, just count 5 reds in a room, 5 blues, 5 yellows, 5 things I love about a person and 5 things I love about myself. And I just like started, I guess like sometimes it just gets me in the place of like, just prioritizing the things that are great around me that I love and I can see. And also sometimes you just need to bitch, Sometimes you need to be upset and giving yourself that space of that day to be mad, Like some days you're just like, man, this, I don't want to be here. And then you just, sometimes you just need that day to be upset. And then, look, don't talk to me today. I'm not happy. I'm going to be upset, But one thing is I used to always try to, like, even if it's 5 a.m. at the airport and somebody's like, yo, are you Teddy Swims? Instead of coming up and being like, yeah, and trying to put on this face. It's so much easier now to be like, look, girl, I got like 3 hours of sleep. I am so excited to see you. I'll always take the picture. I'll always give you some love. But girl, I'm at like 20% of myself right now. So forgive me for not having the enthusiasm that you have currently. Is that okay? And most times people are like, yeah, dude, of course. Right. Thank you for keeping it real instead of like pretending that like, you're Chuck E. Cheese all the time, you know what I mean? Like it's not always Mickey Mouse out here, you know what I mean? And nobody is. So it's great to just, I find it where if I'm just always honest where I am with people, honesty is the best policy. And
I was on a panel recently, and the panel was about joy, right? And I'm up there, and it's like Malik Yoba, and it's other actresses, and it's business owners, and everybody's just like so zen. And like, joy is this, and I find this piece of this. And it kind of went around, and I was like, damn, am I the only one that be spazzing? You know what I mean? Because at some point I was like, so y'all don't ever have a day where like you had enough of somebody's stuff or you felt disrespected and you popped off? And then like once I said that, then everybody else on the panel gave an instance of like, yeah, I'm like that too, and I'm like that too. But you almost feel, in being grateful, you almost feel like being grateful is never having a bad moment or never feeling the strain of what you've worked so hard to get. And I've had to learn to give myself some grace.
Amen. Come on, brother. You know what I mean? Sir, dude. Somebody need to say that. Because I think that's what, I mean, it's so weird that we, in this, like, I guess, and also the hubbub of social media and whatnot, we're all putting our best foot forward and looking like everything's always like amazing all the time. And like, we're living the best life and we're just so happy and doing great. And like, And you know, we are, sure, but like there are, like, why are we like hiding that? Especially for anybody that's coming up to try to get to a place that we all may be, you know, like to try to be just full of zen and just like, you know, preach that this is like who you gotta be to get here. Somebody's never gonna feel that as achievable if they have a bad day. They're gonna be like, well, that guy never has an off moment. Like, I'm just not cut out for that. I'm not cut from the same cloth. And in reality, like, yeah, dude, we all suffered. Like, we're all hurting, man. We're all like going through our things. And I think it's so wonderful. It's just a wonderful thing to talk about. And like, joy is only as good as that downfall behind it. You know, it only is. It's only as sweet because of the shit that comes with it.
I mean, the song said it though, right? He's like joy and pain. He's like sunshine and rain.
Yes,
like
sir.
you don't know how great the joy is unless you know like the depth of the pain, because you can kind of have that perspective of, man, shoot, I was there. Like, I remember that. And so now I know how blessed and how lucky I am to be on this side of it, bro. I love that.
Teddy, man, last time we asked you your biggest pivot, but we can't ask you that again right now. I do want to ask you, though, if you can leave a voice note to the guy who sat on that couch back in Atlanta with us the first time, what would that be?
I mean, I love you, and I care about you so deeply, and it's all like coming, you know. It's all there for you. Everything you think it is there for you, and just like maybe just relax, calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Like just it's coming, man. It's coming, you know, and like just be where you are is where you need to be right now, and be present. You know, like where you are is right where you're supposed to be, and you got time, dude. You don't be in a hurry, you know? Just slow down, man. Just sniff some roses, some panties, whatever you want, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just slow down, brother. I love you, man.
Hey.
That's what I'll tell him.
All right, so this is my question, man, because I am, you talked about being the center of our own world. I am definitely the center of mine at many points, right? And I always say, like, if I could sing, I would just sing all the time, right? And I would answer the phone singing, but I'm sure I wouldn't, because it would become my job. When you were making Little Baby Teddy, did you start the night off by playing your music, or is that weird?
God, no. It'd be so weird to be like, dude, it would be so weird to have my songs come on while I'm in the middle of the act, you know? Like, I would be like, I mean, as I'm walking through here, you know, there's like 3 rooms and my voice is currently playing, and it just drives me insane. You know,
Right.
I definitely am not, even weirdly enough, as I'm driving now, I sometimes just like prefer silence, you know? Like, I remember my mom always like cranking the music off when I was a kid and be like, why are you doing that? She's like, can we sit in silence? Now I'm like, girl, I feel you. Like, I just drive, and just the road is enough, you know? Or like a podcast or a audio book, you know? Like,
I'm an audiobook guy. Like,
I'm not while I'm boning, obviously, not an audio book, but man, that was a good point. If I got the Pivot podcast on while I'm making my baby, that's what I got going on. Man, I love chatting.
hey, you filled this spot perfectly today. Man, you know, we'll end with this. I know you gotta go, man. You'll be on the stage soon. For you, what are you working for now? Not the why, right? But what's that goal, or what's that thing you see out in the future? I mean, you've been Grammy nominated and you've toured the world. What's that thing that you see as the North Star that, Teddy swims and I got to get to that?
You know, that keeps changing, man, because like, I always wanted this, like, everything, you know? Like, I wanted to, like, hold, like, I remember growing up watching, like, when the YouTube came out, I used to watch this video of Michael Jackson all the time when he goes on to get, like, 8 Grammys and, you know, wins, like, the most ever, but he gets his 7th for Thriller, and he's like, you know, he says, like, you know, I promised if I got another Grammy, which is 7, which is a record, that I'd take my sunglasses off. And I don't want to take my glasses off, but I'm doing it for Miss Hepburn, who's a dear friend of mine, and the ladies in the back, and he just raises them up, people lose their shit, and he puts them back down and goes sit down. I always wanted that, you know? That was like, that's success. That's who I want to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I don't feel that way now, you know? I mean, of course I want that, yeah, but it's not like the end all be all. It's like I'm happy, not any way complacent or like, I don't think I'll ever have enough is what I'm saying. You know, every milestone I hit that I'm just like, it's sweet and I appreciate it, you know, and I try to celebrate the wins, but it's just never enough. And I think I've put so much like on the platinum record or the diamond record, I put so much like emphasis on these milestones in my life that I thought would mean so much more to me than they have. And in reality, they mean a lot, you know, don't get me wrong, but they're not here to define me, you know. And so my biggest goal is this, again, right now, is like, I just want to be a good daddy, man. And I just want to I want to be present in moments and like focus on just here and now. I'm lucky enough that enough people have my schedule booked out for me. So I'm where I'm at, and that's where I'm supposed to be. And I'm just like, just want to be a good daddy, man. I want to raise a good boy, and I want to watch him succeed and thrive, and that's number one. And all these other kids can have this shit. You know what I'm saying? I've got a beautiful life, and I'm here to serve the people that understand it. You know.
You got a name yet?
Yeah, my mother's maiden name, Curbo.
Love it, man.
Curbo, man. He's gonna be a fast. Get under the ball, Curbo. Hit him, son. I'm ready to get back on the damn ball field, man. I want to coach some football, man. That's what I want to do. I want to coach that little man.
Hey, people will be like, "Are you Jelly Roll?"
Yeah, Jelly Roll's son out there on the field, giving them hell.
Man, thank you so
Yeah,
much,
I love
bro.
you guys, man.
I just want to tell all you people, man, he's still just as genuine and as sweet and as authentic as the day we met him. And I really appreciate that about you, man. Thank you for giving us time, fam.
Yeah, bro. Thank y'all for coming, man.
Yes, sir.
You look good, man. You can probably outrun Jason Kelsey like this right
I
here.
doubt it.
Love
All
you,
right,
man.
bro.
Appreciate you,
I
my
love
boy,
you,
man.
brother.
All love, man. Thank you, bro.
Hey,
That was awesome.
yo, send Channing my love, please.
Will, man. Yeah, he's on.
Let him know I'm thinking about him.
Yeah.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.